Alright, so you'll see there's a lot of references to that pole. Okay, we've got the black little poles or pillows. You've also got these striped pillows over here. A lot of them are striped in it. You've noticed that before, right? You've got our lovely little lanterns going on here, right all the way around. Over there, that lighting fixture that's about one thing over there is made from Murano glass, which many of you know Murano is not there, right? And then directly below it is a carpet that we're actually going to see when we go back outside of the venue. They've done it on purpose. They've mirrored that image so that when you're coming up the stairs and you're about to enter Palo, you already have an idea of what you're going to be seeing. Palo is also home to some of the most expensive bottles of wine in the world. Does anyone want to take a guess at what the most expensive bottle is? About $24,000. Yes, it is called a Cheval Blanc 1947, alright. Apparently 1947 was a very big year for France in terms of wine. It changed the essence and all that jazz, right? Now, that wine is actually featured in one of our famous Disney films called Ratatouille. Right? Okay. Right at the end of Ratatouille, our dear friend Anton Ego, when he's making his final little meal choice, he says, "Oh, I think that'll go really well with a bottle of Cheval Blanc 1947. Yeah, and he's allowed to because he's a critic, right? But believe it or not, that bottle is insured, so if you knock it over, you'll be fine. I know, it's kind of crazy. I was on the Dream for, like I said, a year and a half, and in that entire time, it had only sold once. So now we've reached deck number 5, everybody. What is the first thing we notice when we reach this deck? Anybody know?
It's shorter.
You feel like, yeah. This guy knows all about it, right? There you go, right? So you really feel that difference in the height of the ceiling. Does anybody know why this is? Yes?
Make you feel like a kid again.
Exactly, because this is where the kids clubs are, right? It's to make you feel like a child again, and it is also to make the kids feel like this is their zone, this is their area, right? So they feel more comfortable as well. It is something that we call forced perspective, all right? Anybody here ever been to one of the Walt Disney parks where you see the castle? So you've all been to a Magic Kingdom park, right? So you'll see now that the castle is ever far away. That is because the actual road itself has been designed in this kind of structure, okay? It does this, right? It's to make it seem like you have to escape reality and travel to a whole new world, right? So it's very, very exciting. But when you turn around and you're exiting, it's like this. So it's, oh, thank goodness, the exit's not that far away because it's been a day, right? So it's kind of crazy. But there you go. So that is also something that we call forced perspective. Now we're going to chat a little bit about our wayfinding system on board. And like I said, that golden era, those references to the golden age of cruise liners as well. So let's start off by chatting about our carpets. I know it seems like an interesting topic of conversation. We actually have over 200 different carpet designs with Disney Cruise Line, most of which are from the Philippines. So we really do incorporate a lot of different things in the world. Now, we are in the aft, so that's why you're feeling the vibration and the rocking and stuff. The rockiest part of the ship is actually the forward, and the midship is the least rocky. Yeah, so our carpets tell us where we're going, and it tells you your direction on board the ship. So right now, if you look beneath you, you will see a little seashell going on over there. Those seashells are located outside every single lobby area of the stateroom areas, right? And that tells you that you are in the aft of the ship. As you move to the midship, you'll see a red flower or a lily. It is the red flower that Ariel places in her hair in the movie The Little Mermaid, which makes sense because, well, Ariel is our main statue character here on board, right? As you move to the forward, it is a leaf, okay? So that will tell you that you're in the forward of the ship. Now, when you walk outside of your stateroom, you will notice 2 things on the floor beneath you. What are those 2 things?
A map.
A map, yes, a world map, and stars, right? So if the world map is facing the correct way and it's not upside down, and the star has a single point, that means you are facing the front of the ship. If it's the other way around, you're facing the aft of the ship. Yes, nice way to remember direction as well. When you're facing the front, the port is the left side, where you can remember this, L-E-F-T, P-O-R-T. They both have those amount of letters. The starboard side, however, I like to remember it with a little Disney reference, and that is the second star to the right. Right? Nice and easy. Also with the forward, the midship and the aft, you can think of it as everything in the forward and the front of the ship has a lot to do with our entertainment, because we as a company are constantly moving forward with our entertainment and discovering new things. Whereas a lot of your dining experiences are located in the midship and the aft, because we all know when you're on a cruise ship, it all goes to the aft. Yes, we do a lot of eating on board, don't we? Right, everybody? Now, right. So welcome to the Buena Vista Movie Theatre. Buena Vista is a pretty big name for us, isn't it? Right? So this is our way of paying homage to that name. Now, has anyone been inside the theatre? Yes. Okay, so we've watched a couple of movies. You've noticed that it has a very elegant, olden kind of style, right? You'll notice it's more shaped like an amphitheatre than it is really a movie theatre. And you'll also notice that there are no cup holders, which is very irritating, but we have to respect what they're attempting to do, because many years ago there were no cup holders in the theatre, okay? So they've done this specifically on purpose. Now, let's chat a little bit about Walt Disney himself. He created his very first animated character, which was who? Oswald, yes, golden Mickeys to all of you, right? So it was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Now, he lost the rights to Oswald all those years ago. He was devastated by this and he swore that it would never happen again. So he introduced a new character, 2 new characters to the world. Who were those characters? Mortimer Mouse and who knows Minnie's original name? Anyone? Minerva. Yes, but his wife said, Mortimer and Minerva? That sounds like a struggle for the kids out there, you know, so we're going to change it to Mickey and Minnie. So that's how they got their names, right? Now, who here knows where we meet Mickey and Minnie for the first time? In a short, or meet Mickey for the first time? That is your first mistake. Oh. Yes, boom, mind blown, right? So the reason everyone assumes that it is Steamboat Willie is because that was actually a film that introduced synchronized sound to the world. It was the idea that while they were moving or whistling or hitting a pan or something like that, the sound was happening at the exact same time. It was like a really, really cool innovation that happened for us. Come on down, everybody, you're fine, no worries, right? The actual film that we meet him in for the first time is a little short called Plain Crazy. Some of you may have seen it or heard of it before, but yeah, Plain Crazy. Anybody know where we hear Mickey Mouse speak for the very first time? Hi, yoga friends! Hi, yoga friends! I did yoga with them the other day. It was very fun. Right. Hey. Yes, anyone know where we hear him speak for the first time? Another little short. Right? It's called The Carnival Kid. So now we're going to guess what were his first words. Come on, someone guess his first words. Oh boy, is a good guess.
Hi.
Hi? Anyone else? I'll give you a clue, it's a food.
Pizza.
Hot dog.
Hot dog, right? Hot dog, exactly. Wow. So he was selling some hot dogs at the fair or at the carnival and he sings, hot dogs, hot dogs, hot dogs. That was his very first words. And it was followed by a little song that he sang. And he said, it's a bum hooch dance, keep your money in your pants. I'm one of those people that goes and researches these things and watches all the little clips on Google. So yeah, you should go take a look at it. It's really, really cool, right? But there's been so many innovations with the Walt Disney Company over the years. There's been introductions of something called the multiplane camera, where that added depth and dimension to all of our series and our films and things like that. The widescreen process of CinemaScope. Has anyone been to the Animation Innovations presentation this cruise? No. Excellent, right? So, does anyone know what the very first widescreen CinemaScope film was for Walt Disney? I'll give you a clue.
Snow White?
No, no, it's much later than that. So Snow White was 1937, no, a little bit later.
Okay.
I'll give you a clue. It had to do with 2 little doggies that shared a meatball and some pasta. Yes, Lady and the Tramp, right? So what happened was CinemaScope was being introduced to the world, okay? And Walt hadn't really picked up on it just yet, but he wanted everyone in the world to be able to see his films as well. So they actually created 2 versions of this film, one in widescreen and then one in the original screen. So they added a west and eastern side to those different shots and to those different cells, so that more people could see what was going on around the world, which is really, really cool. Then, of course, in later years came Sleeping Beauty, where they used Technorama and all that jazz. There's a lot of different innovations that have come with the Walt Disney Company, right? Things like CGI animation, that's been a pretty big one, right? The very first film that incorporated that was... No, way before that. They actually used it... What's that?
So was it Roger Rabbit?
No.
Beauty and the Beast.
No, it was a while ago. It's not very popular, but The Great Mouse Detective and Tron, those were the first times that they really incorporated that style. Of course, Toy Story was when it became much bigger, you know, for the world. But I always like to just share a little bit about that kind of stuff with everybody. Now, as we make our way down this way, we're going to pass some of the kids' clubs and kids' spaces, but we're going to pass It's a Small World Nursery, aptly named after the New York World Fair in 1964 and 1965, and our lovely little ride that we all like to go on, right? That Scar doesn't like very much, anything but that, right? Now, believe it or not, that room actually never used to be a nursery. It was originally a storage unit because we had no idea that people would come on board and bring their babies and say, take our babies, right? So we transformed that space to accommodate our infants. Now, obviously, with the hindsight now that we have, with the dream and the fantasy, we were able to add on to that. We were able to create our own nurseries. So a little bit of interesting information for you. As we're walking down that way, you're going to see another design of carpet. It's kind of shaped like a fan. Again, when you see this fan going this way, you are facing the forward of the ship. And that same image can be seen in multiple areas around the ship, including the atrium and the Walt Disney Theater. You don't realize it, but it is there, right? So come on this way, and then we're going to do